This is WICR.
Welcome back, folks, for our second segment of the day of The Rock is On. We just talked about the woes that the Mets have and what they've been dealing with for the last week and a half. Now we're going to talk about from the Mets to the Yankees, and you know what? I want to talk about one player in particular for the Yankees, and that player is Aaron Judge. Now, it's not very often that you see six guys who are 6'7", weigh about 260, 270 pounds, and play Major League Baseball. You see it in football, linemen, or maybe even defensive linemen, and you certainly see it in basketball. Guys who are power forwards, or even if they're taller, they can be centers and they're 7 foot tall. But you don't see it in baseball that much. And I gotta tell you, Aaron Judge is just he's phenomenal. He is a flat out tank. He's a machine. There's no denying it. And if you look at his stats, granted, it's 6 home runs, 13 RBIs, 279 average as of now, though. But it's like when he gets a hold of one, whew, he's hitting shots, moon shots. It's kind of like watching him. It's kind of like watching Mark McGwire or Sammy Sosa back in the day, or even Barry Bonds. Now, granted, those guys were linked to steroids, and I'm not saying Judge is using steroids, but you get the picture. When those guys got a hold of one, that ball was going far, and it was possibly going close to 500 feet. And Judge is more than capable of doing that. So is Giancarlo Stanton of the Marlins. But I'm telling you, the Yankees struck gold with drafting Judge. And honestly, I really think he can be a 5-tool player in this league. And in baseball, there's not that many guys who are 5-tool players, because some guys, they can hit for power, but then they don't hit for average. Like, they'll hit, 30, 40 home runs, but then hit like 220, 230, like Mark Reynolds or Chris Carter, guys like that. And then you have guys, who hit for average, but they're not power guys. Those are predominantly, leadoff hitters, like Jose Reyes in his prime, or Derek Jeter when he was playing. Or then you have guys, who can't really hit well though, but they're in the starting lineup because they have a good glove and they're good defensively. But it's not very often. Like I said, it's just not very often that you see guys who can do these 5 things: hit with power, hit for average, run, defend and catch, and throw. You can't. Not every guy. I can guarantee you. You can look at every other major league player, and I can guarantee you most of those guys can't do those 5 things perfectly. Guarantee you. There's a few exceptions. Some guys, like I said, there's some guys who are 5-tool players, and I think Judge is one of them. And some other guys who are 5-tool players throughout the league. Cespedes, Yoenis Cespedes, Yasiel Puig, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Paul Goldschmidt, Manny Machado. Those guys have 5-tool caliber players. And I'll throw in he doesn't play anymore, but this is one of my favorite 5-tool players growing up, Larry Walker, who played for the Colorado Rockies and St. Louis Cardinals. He was one of my favorite players growing up. But yeah, Judge, he has that potential. He has that potential, and it's like, and he has this in Judge. It's like when you watch him hit, or it's like when you hear he's about to go to the plate, or whether you're at the game or you're watching it on TV, it's like you can't miss it. It's like you got to stay there and just watch, because you never know what's going to happen. Because you may miss if you leave, or if you don't see how he does, he may hit a 450 or 460 foot shot, and you weren't there to see it. And that's what's great, and that's what's amazing about, Aaron Judge in particular, or just any other player who has that caliber, who has that power, who has that strength, and he has a physical physique too. Like I said, 6'7", 260, 270. He could play power. Honestly, he could be power forward in the NBA, or even be an lineman or defensive lineman, offense or defensive lineman in the NFL. He has that physique. He has that stature. But now, granted, we're only a few games, only about 15, 16 games into the season, but I really think Aaron Judge is going to be a special player in this league, and the Yankees struck gold drafting him. Because, come the MLB draft, we really don't know how these players are going to pan out. Some of them are from college, some get drafted out of high school, and then some are from, like, the Caribbean or other parts of the world. But the Yankees, like I said, they struck gold with Aaron Judge, and he is going to be a phenomenal player for years to come. And he's definitely going to be a fan favorite. Definitely going to be a fan favorite, because when you watch him in the post-game interviews, he doesn't seem like a cocky, arrogant guy. Seems like a guy goes to work, does his thing, gives a max effort every time, and just, no nonsense. It's not like OBJ or, kind of like a Kobe or what else. I'm comparing other sports, but it's like, stuff like that. Guys who are high caliber athletes, probably one of the best in the league, best to do what they do, and it's like they have a lot of baggage with them. But Judge, he doesn't seem like that kind of guy. He just he goes to the ballpark, plays hard, and that's it. And it's just kind of like a cycle. And who knows? Maybe I don't want to over exaggerate it, but you never know. Aaron Judge. He could be that guy that could start hitting maybe 50, 60 home runs. It's possible. It's very possible. Now, granted, the most home runs we've seen recently, it's about 50. I believe it was Jose Bautista when he hit 54 in 2010. Because some guys nowadays, some guys would hit like 30, 40, 45 home runs a year, which is a lot. But I remember this was during the steroid era, so there's a lot of asterisks next to guys' names though. But back in the day, guys were hitting 50, 60 plus home runs every single year, like it was nothing. But granted they had steroids, but I think Judge has that potential, has that caliber to hit 50, maybe even get to 60 home runs. He's a big, strong guy. Great arm, very athletic. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. And now, granted, if he were to do that, hit 50, 60 plus home runs, everyone's going to say steroids. No, because I think Major League Baseball is very on top of it now. Because, they learned their lesson from the steroid era, from the biogenesis with A-Rod. And they're going to be more hands-on about like the substances that players use. Because recently Starling Marte used steroids. He has an 80-game suspension. No, actually, it was Starling Marte or Gregory Polanco. It was a Pirate outfielder. I believe it was Starling Marte. Or one of those guys though that had the steroids. That was caught with PEDs. It was some sort of PED though, and he got an 80-game suspension. But let's see. Let's see if Aaron Judge. Referring back to Judge, I want to see what he can do for an entire season. He came up last year, struggled a little bit, but you know what? I want to see how he does in a full season. And so far, close to a month into the season, I'm very impressed by what I see. And this is coming from a Met fan. And who knows, maybe I'll go to some Yankee game just to see Judge play. And with that being said, that concludes our second segment